For the presentation today then, I want to start off with the real meat of the presentation with a discussion on why do we care? Why do we care about Facebook? Those who are on the call that need to report back to your supervisors about how did you spend the hour, this is going to be something that will be helpful for those who know about Facebook and understand the value, why it's important. This will be kind of old news. For those who just are, boy, you know, I keep hearing about Facebook, but I don't really know why we would want to be on it, or, you know, who cares? You know, why don't we just use collegerecruiter.com or CareerBuilder or Monster or one of the other job boards? This part of the presentation will address that question. Then I'm going to move into distinguishing between three of the leading social networking sites. There are thousands of social networking sites, but the three that kind of stand head and shoulders above the rest are LinkedIn, MySpace, and Facebook. We're then going to get into the 5 secrets of Facebook. So first of all, why should we care? Take a look at this traffic graph provided by a company called Alexa, which is owned by Amazon.com. Pretty consistently since about 2002, according to Alexa and many of the other traffic measurement sites, Yahoo has been in first place in terms of traffic. Now, coming in second or right around there is Google. So those are kind of the 2 of the highest traffic sites. Now, the gold line represents MySpace. They basically came from virtually nowhere back in 2002, 2003, and shot up just before 2004, and then kind of plateaued starting in about 2006. And now if you look at the very far right-hand corner of the slide where that arrow is pointing, you can see that Facebook and MySpace are running neck and neck. Now, are they essentially identical? Well, no. MySpace, average age, 35. Facebook, average age, 25. Again, roughly half the users are going to be older. Roughly half of them are going to be younger. So Facebook is used by a much younger audience. Facebook is much more orderly. You'll see later in the presentation that all the pages basically look the same. The navigation is the same. The coloring scheme, the fact that they're primarily text, it's all very consistent, and Facebook has exerted much more control over how that content is presented and even what the content is than has MySpace. And if you're struggling to find the candidates through the job boards and your boss is wondering why you're on this presentation today, this is why. It's because the job boards, comparatively speaking, are losing traffic, where, again, traffic is up in terms of total numbers, but our slice of the pie is getting smaller and smaller as that pie expands. MySpace and Facebook are getting bigger and bigger slices of an ever-expanding pie. We wanted to talk about the 3 big social networking sites. The first one, let's talk about LinkedIn. There are a number of people on LinkedIn who have very, very few connections. They go out, they create an account, they don't really see what all the buzz is about, they can't figure out how to use it. And then there are people like Dave Mendoza, whose profile you can see up here. Dave is linked to directly with literally tens of thousands of people. I think his current number is somewhere like 23,000 direct connections. Now, how many connections on LinkedIn do you need before you can really start to see its power? About 60. When you hit about 60 connections, then your direct connections, those 60 people, if they each have 60 connections, you're only going to be 1 or 2 steps removed from almost everybody that you want to contact. Dave, with 22,000 direct connections, is definitely somebody that you're going to want to have in your network, because then you're only 2 steps removed from all 22,000 connections that Dave has, including me. MySpace, again, kind of Wild West right now. There are definitely some employers on MySpace that are using the site very well. You can go to MySpace and, like this slide shows, run a search just using their search engine and kind of turn MySpace into a resume bank. So you can type in electrical engineer, Virginia, and this candidate's page is, if you're interested in recruiting Gen Y, then you need to be open, transparent, and honest. The Marines are all three, and they are successful recruiters of Gen Y. If your organization is struggling with recruiting Gen Y, it may be because you're trying to recruit them like they're baby boomers. Different priorities, different culture. You're not going to change Gen Y. You're going to either go out of business for lack of talent, lack of productivity, or you're going to adapt. What Ernst & Young did is that they and Facebook collaborated, and Ernst & Young paid big bucks to have this page that would be there to promote their career opportunities. And what I love about Ernst & Young's strategy is that they really understood their market, who they were trying to connect to, the Gen Y, the college students, the recent grads, and they really understood where they were. They weren't at a job board, they weren't at a career fair, they weren't on campus recruiting. The message and how that message was communicated needed to be different, and they made it different. They did it very successfully.